I am now recording, so we are good to go.
Okay. Do you want to start, Alex, or should I?
Oh, go ahead. I'll do my part later.
Oh.
Oh no, Francisco's internet has
Yep.
left the building.
Everyone, thank you.
Your internet is acting up.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's failing a lot.
It's working.
Let me know if it's some problem.
Okay,
If there's problems, I'll try to switch network.
go for it.
Um, as I was saying, thanks everyone for joining and taking some time to be here to be talking about what request has been done in the last 3 months and what we expect in the near future. Hopefully, you'll have some exciting news here and take a look at like a sneak peek into our near future roadmap. So let's start. The presentation is this community call will be divided into two stages. The first one is the presentation with updates from the team. I'll be doing most of the talk on the presentation side, but David, Mariana, Alex, feel free to interrupt me and add some context if you think that I'm missing something. And after that, there's the Q&A of the selected answers from your side, from the community side, and we'll answer them as much as we can. I want to start the call by showing again our mission. I did this last time, but I think it's important that people know that we at Request Network believe that the future will pass through a financial system built on top of the blockchain, and it is our mission to build the tools to enable this change and to enable this transition to happen, hopefully on top of Request Network. With that, the main goal right now, same as previously, our goal is to grow the protocol as much as we can. And for that, we need more builders to come in and to create more transactions. In order to do so, we believe that these are the most important things that we still need to achieve is to facilitate onboarding of new projects, since integrating request network could be easier, and we are working a lot on trying to making it as easy as possible, as I'll show below, and increase the value of the protocol. Moving on. So on the topic of facilitating the onboarding, we have some news here. We've been working on besides like incentivizing new builders to come in, we are actually doing some progress and creating products and showcases that will allow these projects to integrate request network much easier. First, I would like to talk about request payment. It's the new template that will be launching in the upcoming weeks. It is for you that are already here for a while and that know request create or create request, the previous uh, showcase that request network had. It's somewhat similar, but request create was becoming outdated, and request payment, its main difference from request create is that it's created with some components that are very easy to reuse on other projects. So if I am a builder, I can quickly go to copy one of the components that is on request payment and move it into my project. And with that, I integrate request very easily. This is especially good for marketplaces, e-commerce kind of stores that really want to quickly integrate like an invoicing feature into their product. The second one, and it's still a little bit more in the beginning, but we hope to release it also this quarter, is the request checkout. Request checkout is like a checkout template, like a payment gateway that allows you to start accepting payments through request on your project on your website. The main difference between the request checkout and request payment is that the request checkout will enable the payment to happen before the creation of the invoice. This allows for faster payment, and you can think of it as like the request, instead of serving like an invoice, it will be more like a receipt because it will be created after the payment already occurred. Moving on with into what we are doing in trying to increase protocol value. In the last quarter, we've been doing a lot of infrastructural work, so trying to improve some parts of the protocol that had some smaller flaws, and we want to avoid that as much as we can. But in the upcoming quarters, we'll be having some new features. One of them is to allow payments from centralized exchanges. Much of the payments in crypto and in Web3 happen to centralized exchanges, and we had some builders particularly wanting this feature, so we'll be working on it. And the other main value increase that we want to create is the REC scan. The REC scan is like you can think of it as like an Ether scan, but it will have an Ether scan for payments and invoices created through request. The main utility is that will have extra context, right? Because it will have the data that is inserted in those invoices or on the requests created, and we'll try to make it as easy as possible for accountants and financial people from companies to be able to quickly get the data that they need to manage the accounts of their projects or their companies. Moving on into and finalizing the kind of product roadmap here, we'll be entering marketing. So some updates on what we've done on marketing last quarter. So we've been, besides the usual social media posts, we've been running a marketing campaign last quarter about invoicing. This was composed. This took 2 months, and was composed by a dedicated landing page, 100 posts, and 2 custom blog posts. The landing page was created for people to be able to convert, to measure the conversion of people between the posts and the ones that entered and that got interested on that specific topic, and clicked on it to the landing page. The main results were, we had some nice learnings from this campaign, and we saw that most of your social media followers are interested in these 3 topics, so safety, efficiency, and ownership, which compared to some of the posts were more like value or vision related than actually like technical related. And I think that with these learnings, we'll be able to make a new campaign that is more focused on that. Next quarter, we'll be running a similar campaign, assimilating the learnings from the previous one. It does have a little bit less content, but it will be still 2 months, same amount of posts, a bit more prepared with the learnings that we got from the previous one, and trying to take some of the learnings that people are more connected to, like the vision and the values of request network than just the technical capabilities. We'll be pushing more also this kind of content, so like branding content, public facing approach. We want to share our vision and values as much as we can, because we want to pass on our mission and want people to help with that. We on both on 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 social media or and wherever we are trying to target new people. Lastly, we'll be amplifying the launch of the new tech templates that I mentioned before. Next one, we have the business development. So far, we've been working a lot. Our main focus of business development has been through conferences, hackathons, accelerators, so in events in general. It has brought some good results, especially on the smaller types of builders, so new projects that are still gaining traction. Moving on, and also what brought the need of the hire of Mariana, the new business developer, is that we'll start targeting more specific companies through outreach and through the contacts that we have.
I just want to add something here. As for events, you can expect requests to participate or to host the first online global hackathon. So we're going to try something new in Q2. We're going to organize a global open for all hackathon, no geographic restrictions. You can do your project in more than 2 days like the usual hackathons. So expect some news about that in the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Alex. And to finalize, just wanted to quickly present the additions to the team. So since our last presentation, we've added Ayman and Stefan to the team on the dev side, and Mariana as business developer. So that clears out the presentation side, and I think that now we can proceed with the questions.
Okay, so this is my cue. Hi again, everybody. You have sent in quite a few questions. The ones that were similar, we just decided to delete and keep the one that was more insightful. If your question wasn't answered here, just ping us. Maybe we can get you an answer. But this time we have made it we have tried our best to get you answers to all your questions, including the ones that are related to either request finance or the relationship between request network and request finance. So we'll start with the ones that are request network focused, and then we'll see where we get. First off, can we get an update on tokenomics? There's been no news since the last presentation. An update on the tokenomics side would be to create an incentive that's rewarded to the projects that generate data in request network. This incentive is paid by the projects that consume data to provide some kind of service. Until we create a network that has enough traction on both sides, the token update does not really make sense. Question 2. And this is quite a long one, so I'll just like read it super fast. Earlier project endeavors suggested that request network aims to process many smaller payments. The current usage profile and strategy from the largest builders suggests the opposite, a relatively small number of payments with larger volumes. A pivot has taken place on the product side. This has not yet been addressed by a rework of the functionality of the REC token. How will you address this mismatch? The initial statement stands true. Yeah, the initial paragraph in this question is true, stands true. Though there is no specific focus on either small or big. One of the request network's main offers is contextual data attached to payments, right? In the form of invoices, receipts, and any other proof of payment, which is normally more attractive to transactions where at least one of the participants, the intervenants, is a business. So B2C and B2B transactions, not so much peer-to-peer. This will not impact the REC token updates at all. The REC token updates will be done once we see, again, enough traction to execute the design previously mentioned. Question 3. I see many things on GitHub related to persist and pay before persist. I see a description of it, but could you explain it more and maybe give a real world example? Sure. As it is, the request network protocol requires the creation of the request before the payment can be executed. Lately, we have seen some interest from payment apps to have the payment done first and the request created afterwards as a proof of payment, like a receipt instead of an invoice. This is basically the functionality we are implementing on the pay before persist, and the goal is to make the payments happen faster without needing to wait for the request creation for this particular type of projects. Okay, you can
Yes. Can I just add something there?
yeah, or anybody wants to add something.
When I mentioned, yeah, when I'm quickly talk about the template request checkout will be utilizing what we are currently calling, and in this question has been mentioned, the pay before persist. That's the functionality of making the payment before creating the request. Just wanted to connect the two.
And as far as I know, this is coming from one of our builders in the Grand Pipeline, right, Francisco?
Yeah, so we have some builders that are on that do focus more on the payment side than on the request or the invoice for that payment. So and it allows them to make the payments faster.
And
So they are interested on this, yes.
we did have questions in the past from hackers at various hackathons of buy now, pay later functionality, which also sounds interesting. All right, moving on.
That's different.
Yeah, just giving some alpha. Can you switch slides? Thank you. Question number 4. Which
Yes.
feature are you working on that you are most hyped about and why? There's a couple of them. So I'm just gonna say we have 4 that we are excited about. So I can just add one. So here are the 4 that we are extremely excited about. Obviously, a template. So first off, the invoicing templates, which will allow builders to create new invoicing platforms, add new invoicing features to their existing products much faster. The payment templates, which will obviously allow builders to create new payment apps through Request Network much faster, much easier, and it will allow existing projects to add crypto payment options to their marketplaces or e-commerce features quickly and easily. Then the third one would probably be one-time proxy, which will introduce the ability to pay from a centralized exchange. And also, builders won't have to change their existing smart contracts because they will pass through a proxy. And last but not least, we have RexCon, which Francisco already mentioned. But to reiterate, it proposes an easy way for people to access their requests on the request network, retrieve their requests basically. It'll make it simple for accountants, CFOs, and companies to consult such requests easier and faster. Question number 5. What's the expected use case for selected disclosures? Um, there's a couple of them, and thank you, David, for your input. First off, underwriting the invoice factoring helps to assess the risk of factoring an invoice because in the end you have to give money to somebody you don't know on chain. Lenders will need to know if the payer usually pays before the due date. Second, you can reveal vendor names and amounts without revealing the description of the items, which would be very useful in situations where you would be violating medical privacy laws, for example. So medical expenses, let's assume, if you want real world examples. Third, um, line items without revealing sensitive tax identifiers such as social security number. And last but not least is revealing the actual selective information, just items such as one-line items without revealing others. For example, you can consider separating allowable company expenses from non-allowable ones. Moving on, there's question number 6. Is there any commonly cited reason why people or projects are hesitant or resistant in using Request Network? If so, is there any way to remediate or mitigate their concerns? The new templates and RexCon will be used to showcase our protocol in future initiatives, and it will help people better understand what Request Network is about, what it does, how it works. Moreover, they will absolutely simplify the integration process, making it a super simple job of copy pasting the code in some cases. So yeah, it will be much easier for everybody to integrate and to use Request. I'm really excited about those features coming up. Question 7. What is the single biggest improvement that could be made to the Request Network protocol itself that would benefit any potential builders? It was hard to pick one, but the single biggest improvement that could be made to the protocol is, drumroll, the one-time proxy. So enabling payments from centralized exchanges and making life a lot easier for builders as they won't have to change their existing smart contracts. Okay, and next slide, please. Okay, token related. Have you completely dropped the idea of a staking mechanism? Staking is unfortunately, for everybody who has asked and was looking forward to this, not something that we are actively pursuing at the moment. We are also not condoning any company or anything like that where you can stake your tokens. If you do that, it's on your own risk. Question 9. Is Request Network any steps closer to its triple entry accounting vision? We still think triple entry accounting will happen in the future, though it might take some time. The world is barely getting used to crypto payments, as you well know. For triple entry accounting to start happening, we need crypto payments to be more of a standard than an outlier. And the Request Network is getting ready for this by creating a financial data layer that will serve as the decentralized immutable intermediary for triple entry accounting validation. In this two-sided layer or ecosystem, we have made some progress on the supplier side. We need more progress on this side before further pursuing the demand side. For example, on the demand side, you would have invoice factoring, automated tax reporting, triple entry accounting, automated auditing. So we need to balance those sides first of all. Um, if it's clear, yes, we are looking at it. It will happen, though it will take some time, as we said in the beginning. Question 10. Will there be marketing actions to promote Request Network and the REC token? Um, First off, there are no planned marketing activities for the REC token. We mentioned previously that we need to set some things down. We need to have some success on other parts before we start talking about that. For the foundation, however, we are doing different campaigns. Product marketing campaigns, information on what the protocol does on specific topics such as invoicing or payments, and brand marketing campaigns, pushing our values and our vision. If you've taken a look at our social feeds in the past couple of months, you may have seen this in action, the campaigns in actions, and Francisco also presented the results. Question 11. Can you give the status of the progress made by all the current builders? Who's still evaluating, who's in progress, who's live? Breakdown by transactions per builder would also be nice. So we do want to push this publicly in the future, and we will work on a way to accurately display this information. Obviously, there are some cases here where if the company that's in the in the pipeline for the ecosystem, if they have a token and they're integrating, we might have to not disclose the company's name because that would affect price action. And there are some outliers there, but in general, yes, we want to have this done. There are some challenges on tracking transactions from projects, though. We cannot really track them if they make them private because there is no way to know who created a private transaction. To change that, it would require changes to the protocol itself, and we do not want to compromise on privacy at all. So it will be a complicated process which is not scheduled at the moment. Okay, we can move on. Question number 12. Have any builders made any substantial progress since receiving the grant? Most get dedicated Discord channels and never really interact with the community. On building and integrating Request Network, yes. On gaining traction in active users, not as much as we had hoped. As for the interaction, we encourage our community to follow the ecosystem on their own channels, the ecosystem builders on their own channels, right? As most projects have their own Discord servers, they have their own communication channels, they have their own communities. Let's not forget that. Some of the projects that we have onboarded existed before Request Network and have had communities before. So if one of the builders piques your interest, I strongly suggest that you follow them on their socials or join one of their active chat channels. Question 13. What are you most excited about in terms of the request ecosystem for 2024? Um, we're excited to see what new projects will onboard once we launch the new templates. So templates. Let's see how that will change things for everybody. And the next questions, I would like to mention that they will be concerning the relationship between Request Network, one of our ecosystem builders, Request Finance, and some other things. Our co-founder, Christophe, helped answer them. And there are still a few questions that were strictly concerning Request Finance, and we are not able to answer them, and they should be directed to that team entirely. So, first off, question 14. Can you describe the feedback loop between the Web3 CFO Club, Request Finance, and Request Network? Are Request Network product owners and devs aware of the struggles and needs of Web3 CFO members, for instance? Request Network is building financial infrastructure and creating an ecosystem around that infrastructure. Request Finance is building a product that's mainly addressed to CFOs and financial professionals. The Web3 CFO Club, which is now known as the Web3 Finance Club, is open to all finance professionals involved in Web3 to enhance their digital asset adoption. So this is to explain what each entity is, right? Request Finance and the club are entwined because the club belongs to Request Finance. However, both are independent from Request Network to the degree that Request Network is the biggest shareholder of Request Finance. Question 15. Why is an NFT being used to provide discounts for Request Finance instead of Direct Token? Is the use or promotion of Direct Token now a conflict of interest with the new owners of Request Finance? Request Finance's relationship with Direct Token is identical to Request Finance's relationship with the Link and the Graph tokens with Link and GRT, as Request Finance uses those protocols as much as they use Request Network. The Request Finance NFTs or any potential token or tokens for the club members to get discounts would not be related to Rec token, to the Request Network token. And as far as we know, there are no new owners of Request Finance. Okay, can we move on with the next slides? Thank you. From Request Network perspective, I think I need a drink. My mouth is so dry. How much do they currently own of Request Finance? So what we can disclose publicly is that Request Network is the biggest external shareholder in Request Finance. Question 17, and this one is, again, it's the second long one. I will read it very fast. Request Finance is constantly hinting at expanding away from Request Network. In one instance, Chris stated that they were considering doing a native token on a podcast. In a second instance, he tweeted about distributing NFTs for platform discounts to attendees of a private party. There does not seem to be any public communication between the two entities, and none of the team members are active on Discord anymore to monitor the Request Finance channel. Can you speak to the current relationship between the Request Network, and the Request Finance teams? Is there anything stopping them from going their way at this point? Request Finance is independent, except for the financial relationship, which we previously mentioned, as Request Network is the biggest external shareholder in Request Finance. Request Finance has already been going its own separate ways since inception, and that's very important for our success, for the Request Network success as well. Request Finance is the biggest builder and the biggest user of Request Network. Request Finance is not limited by the Request Network token and can do NFTs and other tokens at will. Question 18. Why does Request Finance never mention that they are using Request Network? Request Finance does not have to mention Request Network in their communications unless they choose so, same as with any other ecosystem builders. We are separate companies with separate teams and separate goals. And now we have the last slide. Thank you, Francisco. Question 19. Why is there no discount for Request token holders? If referring to Request Finance, there are no advantages in owning Request token or the Graph token or the Chainlink token, which, as previously mentioned, are all protocols that are being used by Request Finance. There are discounts for the Web3 finance professionals who are members of the Web3 Finance Club. If referring to request network, such discounts could be implemented once we reach a certain level of ecosystem growth. But in the end, this will still be a choice that the ecosystem builder has to make individually. Question 20. What is the request group and its goals? There is no request group. There are two distinct companies, Request Network Foundation and Request Finance. The relationship, as previously mentioned, is that Request Network is the biggest external shareholder of Request Finance. No request group, just to make it clear for everybody. Question 21. The Request Foundation had plenty of funds, and the amount Request Finance was sold for seems small considering the value that may be lost. Why was Request Finance sold in the first place? How does it benefit Request Network? All that we can say at this point is that Request Finance was never sold. It was not sold. Question number 22 is who is on the board that controls the Request Foundation treasury? And the answer is that we cannot disclose this information, and mainly it is because of safety reasons. So that was the end of the questions. 22 questions. I think there's just a couple of them that we missed. It were pretty identical. If there are any other questions that don't have an answer, please write in either the Rec Trading channel or in the general channel. And there's one more slide, Francisco. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thanks everyone. And feel free to contact us if you want to discuss some of the ideas we previously shared on the presentation. If you have other ideas or you want to know more, we are happy to disclose some more details and
You
chat
can
it through with the community.
either in the general or the Rec Trading channel, preferably in the general channel. And last but not least, this is recorded audio and video. I will upload it to the YouTube channel. Yeah, anything you want to ask us, feel free to do it. And thank you for joining. Bye, everybody.
Thanks everyone. Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.